Hey, I'm Chuck and welcome to the Road Widgets test lab where today we've got a head-to-head duel between two middleweight all-in-one portable solar generators that are geared toward people like you and I who live on the road. These look very similar on the face of it, but there are some hidden differences that we're going to dive deep and discover today. And we're also going to take a look at how clean the power coming out of it is, how long they're going to last when you're using them on the road, see if there's any features that make one more special than the other, and then put them through a test that will take them right to the limits and see where they fail. So you can tell if their advertising is backed up by the units or if they leave a little to be desired. Don't go anywhere. Let's fire up the lab. Okay, let me introduce to you the contestants in today's duel. To my left, we've got the ALLPOWERS R600. This unit has 299 watt-hours of lithium iron phosphate battery capacity built into it. It has a 600 watt continuous rated AC inverter that they claim is capable of up to 1200 watts of surge power. We'll be putting that to the test later. On my right, we've got the Zendure Super Base 600M. Just like the competitor on the left, it's got a 600 watt AC output inverter that's capable of only 1000 watts of surge power. And again, we're going to test that later. But unlike this fella, we've got 600 watt hours of lithium iron phosphate battery chemistry in here. So almost double the battery capacity of this one. Now, you might think that means this one weighs more, but they actually weigh very similar, with this one weighing slightly less. This is coming in at 14.1 pounds, and this one right here is 16.1 pounds. A couple of other standout features between the two. We've got wireless charging on top of this, so you just set your phone on it for a charge. This one has the ability to jump start a vehicle, which is very cool, and it doesn't use fans for cooling, so you'll never hear loud fan noises coming out of this, whereas this one's a little more conventional, and when it's under load, you will hear some fans. We're going to start off by powering these on, taking a look on the oscilloscope and seeing what the waveform looks like. They both claim to be pure sine wave inverters, so let's make sure that's true. We'll take a look at the output voltages, and then we'll see how they hold up under loads and find out which one of these is the true middleweight champion. All right, now that we know our competitors, let's let the testing begin, and we're going to pick things up with the ALLPOWERS unit. Now this, again, is a 600 watt continuous rated inverter output. They claim is capable of up to 1200 watts of surge, and it's a pure sine wave output inverter, which means when we flip on the power, we should see a nice uniform sine wave on the old oscilloscope here, and if we don't, that means they're up to no good. So let's go ahead and power this bad boy up, and we should see on our oscilloscope, look at that. That is a beautiful looking sine wave. So we know it is in fact a pure sine wave inverter. Very good. And let's see what kind of voltage we've got coming out of that. Yeah, right on the money at 110 volts. So that's exactly what we want to see. That's what they claim. Let's load this thing down and see how it holds up. And we're going to start with one of my favorites. This is a little waffle iron, because you never know when you got to make waffles out on the road. Am I right? Us nomads, we know how to live. We're going to plug this in. This waffle iron is rated to just over 600 watts. So we got that going. You probably can't hear that, but right away the cooling fans kicked on the ALLPOWERS unit. It looks like our sine wave form is still holding steady though, and that's really good. And our voltage has only gone down by 2 volts, which is about what we'd expect. Over here on the output, we've got 618 watts. So right away, we can say that this unit is capable of living up to its rated wattage output of 600 watts. That's a really good sign. Now, they claim it's capable of up to 1200 watts of surge output power, and let's put that to the test right now. Behind me, I have one of these monstrous blowers. We're going to go ahead and plug it into the same power strip, and we will turn that up and see if we see any drops in voltage or changes in our waveform, and also try to keep an eye on the wattage here and see how high we get before this thing shuts down. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this fan on. This is low power. Ooh! That is the sound of an all-in-one power station in need. So it looks like it dropped off right there. I know for a fact that this fan is capable of not pulling any more than 200 watts. So we probably didn't even break 900 watts there on the output of this before it shut down. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn things off. And we'll say that that concludes the testing on that. We know that it can handle its full rated output power, no problem. The sine wave held up and the voltage didn't drop, but it was easy to overload, and I believe it happened well before we hit our 1200 watt surge mark. which is a little disappointing. But hey, it's doing what they said it would. It just can't handle those peaks. Let's take our attention and put it on the competitor to the right here. This is the Zendure Super Bass 600M, and let's see how it holds up. Like the ALLPOWERS, the Zendure Super Bass also claims a 600 watt continuous AC output rating. Unlike its competitor, it has twice the battery bank, and sometimes a larger battery bank is what's required if you want to have those AC outputs extend past their 600 watt rating. So we'll see if that bears out to be true in this case. We're going to start by powering this unit on and taking a look at the waveform on our oscilloscope. Here we go. Boom. So we've got our waveform popped up, but I don't know if you can see, but that waveform is just zipping across there. And that to me tells us that we are not actually exactly at 60 hertz. Probably not the biggest deal in the world, but if you are powering something with a motor, it's probably going to operate at a slightly different speed thanks to this unit being slightly off. Just judging by that, I think it's probably only a few hertz, not the end of the world, but something to know if your equipment's really serious. Let's take a look here. Our voltage coming out, we're at 107.9. That's a hair low considering there's no loads on it. And let's see how it changes once we fire up our waffle maker. Okay, waffle maker's plugged in. It looks like our voltage, well, it hardly dropped at all, so that's really good. The sine wave is still moving, but it's not showing any deformation, so we're still coming out with pure sine wave power. And our output here is measured at 581 watts. So everything's holding steady and looking good. There's no fans, which I don't know if you can hear, but as this one does not have cooling fans, that's a really nice benefit. We're gonna go ahead and get our trusty blower and plug that in. Now remember, on the ALLPOWERS unit, we couldn't even run it on low. Let's go ahead and turn this on. We're gonna start at low. The curtains are blowing, so we know it's on. And that bumped us up to 817 watts, and it appears to be holding steady. Our sine wave is still looking good. And our voltage, it's actually, oh, just shut off. Before I saw it shut off, our voltage was holding steady. We were about at 106 volts. But look at that. So this one, it did run that load a bit longer than the ALLPOWERS unit did, but it still couldn't sustain it. So that continuous rating of 600 watts really is the threshold. You don't want to go above that. And we didn't even come close to the surge of 1,000 watts, so neither of these units really has the ability to hit those surge peak loads that they claim to deliver. Well, that was a heated contest, no pun intended, and both of these units held their own and they actually lived up to their rated outputs, and that's always nice to know we can trust these companies to advertise the truth. The ALLPOWERS unit did bail a little early as soon as we overloaded it compared to the Zendure Super Bass, but they both managed to pull off 600 watts of output without degrading the voltage or the sine wave shape of their output power, so we can feel good running our sensitive electronics, even high demand ones, with either unit. Now for me, picking a winner becomes a little bit more nuanced because these are not the exact same price and they don't have the exact same specs. If you want the ability to just set your phone on top of this and have it charge it wirelessly, well, that might be a worthwhile investment then to go with this unit. If the ability to jumpstart your vehicle or operate without a fan is more important to you, or if you really want the additional battery capacity, the extra cost of this unit, well, that might be justified. In my eyes, if I was going to pick one of these two to live with, I think I would have to go with the Zendure Super Bass simply because it doesn't have a fan, which is a feature you'll enjoy all the time, and it's got double the battery capacity and the ability to jumpstart a car with a drained battery. I mean, those are so handy if you're a nomad on the road. Dead batteries are a fact of life, and listening to cooling fans when you're trying to relax in the great outdoors, that's just antithetical to a good time, huh? At the end of the day, they're both great units that do what they say they'll do. And the fact that they have different price points and configurations with and without solar panels means you can find the unit you need that's going to fit your needs the best, regardless of which one you choose. Well, I hope you enjoyed putting these two units to the test. I know I did. It's always interesting to see if the manufacturer's claims live up to their real-world performance. And that's what we did here at the lab at Rode Widgets. It's a lot of fun, and I love getting the tools out and sharing our results with you. Stay tuned for more reviews like this one.